Right, takamuzwa madebates akawanda asingaperi zvakanaka. Wingy D versus Japreza, kubhora tina Cristiano Ronaldo versus Lionel Messi. Madebates asingaperi zvakanaka. And then when it comes to cars, tinawo madebates akadaro. BMW versus Mercedes. It's it's beefy, or it's a debate. It's not kubvira rakapera. Hapana vanhu vakazomboya chititsananguriro no zviri kumboyatsofamba sei tinyatsonzwisisa kuti kana chiti iyi yawina inenge yawina sei, iyi kana chiti yawina inenge yambowina nechii. So today I'm here to give you some certain points of my facts anogona kuti ubve panapa uchiziva kuti no BMW kana iri yandofarira ndoifarira hangu asi inokundwa, kana iri Mercedes inokundwa unoziva no Mercedes ndoifarira hangu asi inokundwa. So I'm here to compare Mercedes-Benz versus BMW. I am Sheriff Zim, and thank you so much for tuning in to Gear Up. Until but please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Point number one, performance. But BMW, when it comes to performance, BMW is meant for performance. Take line right over for sheer driving pleasure. It gives pleasure mostly kuna driver munhu anoda mota inoperforma uchingoitsika ichidaira uchinavigata makona inenge ichiziva zvainenge ichiita, because BMW is the leader when it comes to weight distribution yemota dzavo. BMW maintains a 50-50 weight distribution inova iyo one of the key factors dzinoconsiderwa when it comes to performance yemota in terms of handling. Kana mota ichiremerana zvakafanana namasides ese, it handles better than a car yekuti inenge ichiremera kumberi kana inenge ichiremera kuside. So in terms of performance, takuenda ku-Mercedes, of course Mercedes-Benz inawo ma-performing vehicles, but Mercedes-Benz is mainly focused on comfort. Kupfuura zvimwe zvinhu zvese, Mercedes-Benz prioritizes comfort iri mumota kupfuura zvinhu zvese. Of course BMW has M Sport, which is their performance division, and also Mercedes has AMG, which is their performance division. When it comes to performance, M Sports anobhita ma-AMG. So izvi zvagara zvanga zvichingozikanwa nevanhu vakangwara nevanhu vanoziva information. So when it comes to performance, BMW takes the lead, and BMW now has 1 point, Mercedes-Benz 0 in terms of performance. And then when we move to comfort and ride quality, because BMW is meant for performance, comfort is not their priority. Ride quality is not really their priority, but could move fast. Of course, the driver is comfortable because after all, it's a luxury vehicle. These are luxury car makers. My luxury products. When it comes to comfort and ride quality, Mercedes-Benz takes the lead. Why? Because Mercedes-Benz is mostly when you go to BMW, of course in our 7 Series and any comfort, but when it comes to comfort, Mercedes-Benz takes this point. So it's now 1-1, BMW 1 ku performance, Mercedes 1 ku comfort and ride quality. And then moving on to the third point, we are now talking of interior quality. Imwe nyaya inogara ichinetsa vanhu vachiposta tumapicture kemukati meBenz nemukati meBMW, but the real question is, which interior is better? BMW uses premium material, but with a focus on sporty and a functional cockpit. So in terms of gimmick zvekuzoti mota inobudisa perfume inoita sei, BMW I focus on it because remember they are trying to maintain a 50-50 weight balance, and also they are trying to make sure that everything that is in the cockpit is functional. But when it comes to Mercedes-Benz now, Mercedes-Benz inototora nguva BMW one. And then moving on to number 4, technology and infotainment. BMW is known for the iDrive system. The iDrive system is one of the best, infotainment systems dzakamboiswa mukati medzimota. And then Mercedes-Benz features what we call MBUX or MBUX, which is widely regarded as one of the most advanced and intuitive infotainment systems with voice commands and augmented reality navigation. So apa ndofunga makutobata vanobata kutobata kuti yawina ndeipi. iDrive is very user friendly, but then when it comes to the cutting edge technology and leading in terms of providing the most excellent and the most up to date features, Mercedes-Benz inozozvitora. Why? Because ana voice control, ana voice commands are more efficient than what you get in a BMW. So BMW has the most user friendly, and then Mercedes-Benz has the most technologically advanced infotainment system. So when it comes to technology and infotainment, Mercedes-Benz takes it again. So now Mercedes-Benz has 3 and BMW has 1. I know only BMW are going to talk, but no, then we explain at the end what then it means. My points are and then moving on to number 5. When it comes to safety features, both vehicles offer, top of the range safety. BMW, because it's a performance car, it will, to focus as well on safety, because a car that moves fast, a car that performs very well, it is safe, it provides advanced safety features. So BMW offers a range of safety features, including lane assist, collision warning, and adaptive cruise control, especially in its newer models. And then when you go to Mercedes-Benz, Mercedes-Benz is a trendsetter. It sets standards in terms of safety with a comprehensive suite of active and passive safety systems like pre-safe, active brake assist, and e-active body control. So what does this mean? It leads us to a draw. Why? Because both of these cars offer equally good safety features, although they have different approaches in terms of how they implement that high level of safety. So generally, when Benz, I pretty good as well as BMW. I pretty good. Why? Because of that 50-50 distribution. And then Mercedes-Benz has what we call, e-active body control. Of course, in English, it's 50-50, but because of that e-active body control, it does not roll over. So what does this mean? It leads us to a tie. So Mercedes-Benz now has 4 and BMW now has 2 points, because in terms of safety, these cars are equally good, because when a BMW does a performance. So when a driver, a performance car needs a safety, and also Mercedes-Benz focuses on quality and luxury. Luxury and quality and comfort. Since one want to be safe, so both of these cars take the highest priority. But now the safety my users are, so it leads us to a draw. And then moving on to number 6, driving dynamics. BMW is renowned for its engaging, agile, and responsive driving experience, especially with their ultimate driving machine philosophy. So BMW pushes a philosophy on ultimate driving machine. It's self-explanatory in the sense that BMW cautious now the performance. So in terms of driving dynamics, of course Mercedes-Benz focuses more on comfort and smooth driving rather than pure sportiness. However, MG models are performance oriented, but because BMW spends lots of money in research and investing in systems that make their car the sportiest vehicles that you ever get, and Mercedes-Benz spends most of their time making sure that their cars are the most luxurious and the most comfortable cars that you get. So in terms of driving dynamics, BMW wins because it is their main focus area, and they've done it very well. Because even in terms of my performance sports, my burnouts, you realize that most cars that are used for burnouts are BMWs, particularly these 3 series. So you will see where these guys have put in the work in terms of performance. So in this category, about driving dynamics, BMW takes the point, leading us to BMW 3, Mercedes 4. And then moving on to resale value. One thing that you need to consider whenever you buy a car is whether these luxury and these slightly expensive cars that do not only focus on the mere goal of getting from point A to point B. You need to make sure that when you want to resell or want to upgrade your car, you need a car that maintains its resale value. Kuma phone iPhone. Why? Because it has a good resale value. Chengetedza value is really better than most cars. So BMW typically has a strong resale value, especially the 3 Series and X5 models, though it can be hit a hit or miss depending on the model and market. So BMW generally chengeta resale value. Both of these cars are not chengeta resale value, but BMW also depend on market how condition, because BMW not it's a driving machine. Kasika could weigh out, because most of these people that buy my BMW run on fast speed. So if a car is being used in terms of speed, performance and stuff, the engine engine wears and tears faster than engine yemunhu anakaita comfort, because haanyanyi kuita push to its limits. So because of that, BMW inenge ine miles akawanda, ine kilometers akawanda inoshandiswa kupfuura Mercedes. So generally when it comes to resale value, Mercedes-Benz takes another point because of its how it's oriented, zvokuti ndeye luxury tichengetwe vanoitibate zvakanaka kupfuura a performance car such like BMW. So generally Mercedes-Benz takes another point, and it is now Mercedes-Benz 5 and BMW 3 points. And then moving on to fuel efficiency. Generally BMW offers better fuel efficiency, especially in their 4-cylinder model and diesel variants. Mercedes-Benz, while generally competitive in certain models, especially SUV category, may not be as efficient as BMW's smaller engine. Right, now let me explain to you what this means. Because BMW is focused on performance, they make sure that they engineer my engines out to make sure they give you the greatest numbers, the greatest scores, especially when you talk of efficiency. So because that BMW, they end up getting lower lower, they end up giving it in fact higher fuel mileage, because kana iri motor ekuti koisa performance icha make sure munhu anofarira performance haachafanira kushandisa more fuel yakawanda unnecessarily. So in terms of fuel efficiency, BMW takes the lead, and now it leads us to BMW 4, Mercedes-Benz 5. Dzakatsoma na kudai. So I told you on a BMW patezingita pamazigi mayanyosiwa steady kuti don't worry, pane zvinenge zvichiitika. And then moving on to point number 9, price range. Now BMW offers a more diverse range of pricing, including some relatively affordable entry luxury models like the 2 Series, 3 Series, and also the 1 Series. And then Mercedes-Benz typically positioned higher in terms of entry-level pricing. Their best models like the A-Class are more expensive than the best models at BMW. So what are we saying, Panapa? BMW offers better pricing, better value for your money in terms of how their cars are priced. When you look at their best models, their entry-level models are cheaper than my entry-level models in Mercedes-Benz. So on further Mercedes-Benz, more comfort, luxury and stuff. So generally, motors they use not dure because they're making it for the the higher the higher clients. My clients higher and comfort and luxury up there. So generally when it comes to the price range, Mercedes-Benz on a BMW, because BMW has some of the most affordable entry-level luxury vehicles. Even when you go to the higher end of the market, you see my Benz, the top of the range Mercedes-Benz are more expensive than the top of the range BMW. So generally BMW takes another point in terms of affordability. When you want to buy a good car, a good performing car, a good equally luxurious car, ISO as luxurious as Mercedes, but it does not compromise in terms of comfort and luxury. So generally BMWs are more affordable than Mercedes-Benz. So it now leads us to 5 points for Mercedes-Benz and 5 points for BMW. What does it mean now? Tapa point number 9. Obviously, I'm going to give you point number 10, which is going to be our tiebreaker for this series, brand prestige. Now, when it comes to brand prestige, it just depends with the kind of person that you are. What are we talking about when we talk of brand prestige? That's about the brand, don't feel so good to be associated with. Mostly when I'm talking about BMW, what, it's only, these are some of the things that are only said, in the poor ends of the market. So BMW has equally, an amazing, brand prestige as Mercedes-Benz has. Mercedes-Benz leads when it comes to now the luxury. Most of the world leaders, most of the richest people in the world would prefer a Mercedes over a BMW. But then when it comes to the middle part, to the lower part of of the market, most of those people would prefer a Mercedes. So what does this mean? You know, the younger people love BMW because the younger people love thrill. You know, awasi, you know, slightly as boring as, you know, wanwakuru wachati zvekumhanyiswa wachati zvekuti say they just want comfort, you know, performing car. So what does it say? It gives us another tie. BMW now has 6 points and Mercedes-Benz now has 6 points. But now, overall, what are we saying? You know, my final verdict for this, if you look at the points that are on a Mercedes and the points that are on a BMW, you understand something. You know, there's one thing in a nutshell that we can draw from this conversation. If you are a person who prioritizes comfort, luxury, and just, tone down stuff, you'd go for a Mercedes. It's better in terms of those, in terms of those aspects than a BMW. And then if you're a person who loves, that, sheer driving pleasure, that, performance, that thrill that comes with you, driving a car, mota yakuti parobot ukaona munhu anoda kukusarisa paside, you can just floor it and then you become the winner in an imaginary race yamunenge maita muchibva ipapo. And also no question about the efficiency, fuel efficiency, udi mota inokorora fuel, but you want an equally luxurious and a good car, you'd go for a BMW. So what are we saying? We are saying this battle or this debate is mainly focused on preference. It's like when you go to football, Messi and Ronaldo have a different style of play. It's up to you to choose which style of play appeals to you more. So generally, when you're choosing between Mercedes-Benz and BMW, you need to consider the factors of what you like as a human being. I know most people wachanda kufavira brands out, but generally, if you ask me, Benz and BMW are equally good cars. It depends with preference. I personally prefer a BMW over a Mercedes. Why? Because I'm not old. I'm still a young person. I need to experience life. I need that adrenaline rush that I get from a good performing and an efficient car. Although I also like luxury, but luxury for me is like it's a Sunday thing for me. But for every day, I would prefer a BMW. Although I equally love Mercedes because there are some, models of Mercedes that I prefer more than other models of BMW. So also it depends on the model that you're looking for. If you're looking, for a luxurious SUV, go for this Mercedes. But if you're looking for a, equally as luxurious and a good performing SUV, go for a BMW. Until we meet again, please, comment. This is a debate. Comment down below your thoughts. I am Sheriff Zim, and until we meet again right here on Gear Up, please like, share, and subscribe.